thank you for coming in. It's lovely to have you back my pleasure. It's lovely to have you back on Network grounds. You've had an amazing success this year. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yes, so I have, so I came into Network wanting to do medicine. I think I've always known that that's something that I wanted to do ever since I was young, really. And I applied for medical school, and after sitting my A-levels, I received my offer, and now I'm off to do medicine at Brunel University in London.
That's fantastic. There's so much to celebrate. You're officially Network's first medicine student, so we're delighted for you. It's a fantastic achievement. So you mentioned that you've always wanted to study medicine. Could you talk a little bit about how Network supported you in choosing which universities to apply to?
I think since going into the application process, since I've always known that medicine is what I wanted to do specifically, I think the teachers we had and the resources they gave us were immensely helpful in sort of facilitating that decision for me. And they did encourage me to, I think there was a lot of supplemental things with applying for medicine. There was the UCAT, and we had our amazing head of sixth form, teacher Jacob, and he played a big part, I think, in helping me choose the schools that I wanted to apply to in deciding if they were the right fit for me. I think in terms of the student body and where the school was, the courses, the specific, I think the teaching style of the school was, with Brunel, was something that I specifically liked. And in that process, I think they were immensely helpful. And I think the resources they gave us, as well as the support, I think was, I don't think I could have done, I could have been where I am without it. And so, yeah. I think I credit
Fantastic. That. How did Network help build your confidence in order to help support you applying to universities and taking that next step?
Right. I think they were an incredible job. I would really credit our ECAs, that being a big part of sort of building that confidence throughout our sixth form career and as well for university. I think during our ECAs we were encouraged to take on a lot of leadership positions and leadership roles. I was encouraged by my teachers to apply for the role of house captain. I think that helped me immensely in sort of building the confidence to apply for university, to venture out of my comfort zone, I would say, and to take on those leadership positions. And I would say those all played a part, and they played a crucial role really in building that confidence to be able to venture out and apply to universities and look for the course that I wanted.
Good. Thank you. So you joined Network in year 11. Obviously, school was online at that point, so there was a bit of a transition to learning in person. But obviously, there's a bigger transition anyway, going from GCSEs to A-levels. Can you talk a little bit about how Network supported you to make that transition successfully?
Like you said, I think the shift from GCSEs to A-levels is always going to be significant, and that shift, I think, being online, changing to in-person did make it a bit more scarier, I would say. Yeah. But I think Network did a really good job in building that support system. I would say the school felt really like a community that we could really rely on, and I think we could depend on. And I think the teachers did an incredible job, I think, of checking in with students. Yeah, I would say there was a really helpful support system around us, so it did make it a lot easier.
Great. Is there a project or an experience that you had at Network that really stands out as something that helped you develop and grow?
Yes, I would say looking back on it and reflecting back on my school career, there was tons. But I think one that was particularly close to my heart, I think, was the student-led charities that I was a part of. And that was towards the start of year 12. So we were transitioning back from online learning to in-person. And I would say we didn't really know each other very well in terms of like the sixth formers. And I think that facilitated and it helped us build an environment where we could rely on each other and we could collaborate. And so the student-led charities was an ECA, so it was an after-school thing where we would get together, and the teachers wouldn't really take on a leadership role, and the students were sort of given that autonomy to decide on causes that they were passionate about. And so we could get together and we could talk and we could discuss about the causes that we wanted to work on to improve in the country. And me along with my group, we chose education to work on. So and we chose a project to do a fundraising activity at school, and we hosted a movie night for the younger years. And I think that experience of us getting together and being able to get to know each other better, as well as the teachers and our peers, I think was one that I would say definitely helped build that personal growth and development. And looking back on it, I would say that is the one that stands out the most.
Fantastic, thank you very much. How did the community and atmosphere at Network help shape who you are today?
I would say the community, as well as the values that Network stands for, definitely played a big part in shaping the person that I am today. I would say, as I mentioned, it feels very much like a community, the school. So I think the close-knit feel and like having it feel more like a family than it is an educational institution, I think is something that I strive to embody in whatever school or whatever endeavors I go forward onto. I would say, it's definitely like the values that the Network really stands for, having it feel like a community and supporting each other is something that I will carry with me and I will always strive to embody.
Were there any particular teachers or members of staff who inspired and supported you whilst you were at Network, and how did they make a difference?
I think there's so many teachers that I could credit it all to. I think looking back, I would say the first person I met through online learning while I was applying and through my application process was teacher Sophie.
Yeah.
We initially connected over my love of English literature.
Yeah.
So during my A-levels, I took biology, chemistry, and business for my A-level subjects. But I wish I could have taken English literature, and that was what we were talking about. And I think she played a very big part in supporting my decision, as well as supporting me, I think, in applying for medicine and sort of building that confidence that I could go out and apply for this course that was particularly hard. And I think Teacher Sophie was one of the first members of staff that I met. I would also say Teacher Yinka, who was my chemistry teacher in year 12. I think he also, chemistry was a subject that I really enjoyed, but also some concepts that I particularly struggled with. So I think he was very helpful in supporting me and supporting my studies. And Teacher Jacob, of course, played a big part in the application process. And there was definitely so many. Teacher John Kerr, who taught me biology as well as chemistry in year 12 and year 13. And
Fantastic, thank you. I saw Teacher Sophie this morning, and I mentioned that I was seeing you today. You see, her favourite memory, I think she said to me this morning, was that despite you not doing English literature, you still talk to her about what books you're reading, which is fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
So my final question today is, what advice would you give to another student who is looking to follow a similar pathway to medicine at university?
There's lots of advice that I could give, but I think since medicine is a very demanding career, and it's a long schooling process too, so I think definitely make sure that that's what you want to pursue in life. And if you are sure about it, I think it's also one of the most rewarding experiences and careers that you could go into. So I would say, in preparation for that, I would definitely encourage students to go out and pursue extracurriculars. So whether that be leadership positions in school, extracurricular activities such as the charities and volunteering, I think is a big part of like taking on the responsibilities of a doctor and a physician. And I would also say that definitely you have to take initiative for your learning. I think you have to be independent. I would encourage students to go out and speak to their teachers and ask questions if they have any, as well as work with their peers and their friends to work on things that they find challenging. I would definitely say have a good relationship and have a good rapport with your teachers. I would also say a test like the UCAT is something that they have to start thinking about earlier. I would say that's all.
Fantastic. That's all wonderful advice. Thank you so much for coming in to talk to us. It's been brilliant. Good luck. You don't need luck, but I'm sure you're going to do wonderfully well. So thank you.
Thank you.